The coronary circulation. The coronary circulation is so named because it forms a crown of sorts that surrounds the entire heart. We've talked about how this circulation starts at the sinuses just outside the aortic valve, one opening leading to the heart's right side and the other to the left. Here is an anterior front-on view of the heart and these major coronary arteries. You might think it isn't important to know each of these arteries and which part of the heart they supply, but in fact it is significant and relevant. When you read an ECG and look at the different leads, you will sometimes see specific patterns indicating that one or another artery has been affected or blocked. You must know which arteries are where to determine what a particular pattern of ischemia or oxygen deficit means. As you can see, there are left and right coronary arteries. The left gives rise to three major branches: the anterior descending artery, the circumflex artery, and the marginal artery. About 1 out of 4 of us have an extra branch off the left circumflex artery called the posterior interventricular artery. The right coronary artery gives rise to a marginal artery across the right anterior part of the heart, or the posterior interventricular artery in 1 out of 4 of us who have this artery coming off the left circumflex artery. So if you see certain areas of ischemia or heart damage, you should think of these branches possibly being blocked. Anterior surface, think left anterior descending artery. Left anterior surface, think left marginal artery. Left posterior surface, think circumflex artery. Right anterior surface, think right marginal artery. Right posterior surface, think posterior interventricular artery. Inferior surface, think right marginal artery. This is a rough idea of what this looks like visually. Left circumflex artery supplies the left atrium and left ventricle. The left anterior descending artery supplies the right ventricle, left ventricle, and interventricular septum. The left marginal artery supplies the left ventricle. The right coronary artery supplies the right atrium and the right ventricle. Right marginal artery supplies the right ventricle and the apex. Once the blood has supplied the heart structures, it enters the cardiac venous system. Tiny Thebesian veins run through the myocardium, taking blood to larger veins outside the heart muscle. These lead into even larger veins that travel along the sulci alongside the arteries until they reach the coronary sinus, a large area where blood pools and travels along the coronary sulcus. The coronary sinus empties into the right atrium through a small opening. Here are the major veins of the heart, including the coronary sinus. It is not as important to learn the different names of the coronary veins, as these rarely get diseased and aren't a cause of any major ECG changes. Blood flow through the heart wall. The blood flow through the heart wall itself has one important feature. The major coronary vessels travel along the outside of the heart, but what about the circulation inside the heart itself? It turns out there are perforating arterioles, or extra small arteries, that punch through the heart wall from outside to inside so that even the endocardium gets blood. It also means that if there is a slowing or blockage of blood flow in the major coronary arteries, the inner heart wall layers, especially the endocardium and subendocardial areas, are more likely to be shorter on oxygen than the outside of the heart wall. As you study ECG analysis further, you'll learn how the ECG will show areas of ischemia where there isn't enough oxygen in the heart muscle. You'll hear about transmural myocardial infarctions and subendocardial infarctions. The term transmural means all through the heart, while the term subendocardial means the damage is confined to the inner heart layers. You will probably not hear about an epicardial myocardial infarction because this isn't likely to happen, since the blood supply is generally much better in this part of the heart. Because the blood flows from outside to inside, you wouldn't have damage to the outer layers of the heart wall without likely having worsened conditions in the inner heart layers at the same time and in the same areas.